What's up, Agency Go fam? We are now on episode 4 of Spam or Not Spam. And if this is the first time you're tuning in, it is essentially a show where I dig up emails inside my spam folder and I determine once and for all their everlasting fate. Are they going to be determined not spam and put back into my inbox, or will I delete them forever and I will never hear from them again? The stakes are super high here, as you could probably imagine. There's a lot of bad emails out there. There's a lot of good emails out there. And sometimes they're marked as spam unfairly. I'm here to help make sure they're put in the right place. All right. I also was able to grow my agency to $1.7 million in revenue a year through, the right kind of sales, outbound emails through, sending messages or pitches through cold calling or what have you, in order to get to the right people in the right way with the right message. Right. And also just through general social media posting, all sorts of stuff. Right. So not always cold. A lot of times it was just the right kind of marketing email, all sorts of stuff. Okay. So this email caught my attention mainly because this is actually something that I'm looking for. I have a SaaS product within Twiz that I built, which is helps agencies get leads. And I'm looking for a development team right now. So having something that I could use for myself, potentially even for my clients, if I like the solution, is top of mind. So this one caught my attention. So let me zoom in here, because actually this might be a good one just to zoom in on a little bit. Let me know. So he's been on Zoom. I said, let me know. I guess you can't really, but if this should be pretty easy to see. So I'll read it to you guys. Hey, Lucas, partners using our white label teams during the current economic slowdown can access the needed skill sets and team size appropriately for the work available. Rather than carrying the idle costs of teams that may or may not fit the current requests, we run our white label teams onshore with our 2 customer-facing senior solution architects. See the images below. While our engineers work overlapping schedules with EST, CST while providing you a margin to put on top of our $37 developer cost and the flexibility of releasing our team when the work is finished rather than absorbing idle costs. A 10-minute Q&A discussion now will check all your boxes so you're ready to utilize your teams when the need arises. Please reach out if we can be helpful. All right, so here's the thing. Just saying, can we chat, is, in my opinion, the worst thing to say during a message, right? You got to give some sort of offer. I will say that this could be reworked, like the way they're talking about a 10-minute Q&A discussion. Now we'll check all your boxes. Like, that is, for some reason, to me, a little bit more appealing than just saying, can we chat? Because they're defining the length of the conversation, which is 10 minutes. And I can afford to spend 10 minutes of my time. Obviously, I think we all can. Also, it's saying it will check all my boxes, which a free consultation is just so vague. It sounds like you're never going to have some sort of completion. But in this situation, he is guaranteeing me essentially, and I should actually check who this person is actually, instead of assuming that it's a guy, Kevin. Okay, he's the co-founder. But they are assuming that they're guaranteed essentially by emailing me that it will be fully complete. I won't have to, do anything about it anymore. And I won't have to talk to them again, essentially, if I don't want to, because I'll have all the information. So they're basically saying for 10 minutes of my time, I will have all the information I need. I still think it could be better. I think they could give me something. Like, for instance, they could say, all right, we're going to give you a white label, 12-month white label program to add $1 million in revenue to your business. And that would be pretty appealing to me. Like, if I knew that by white labeling them, I could add $1 million to my business, that's appealing to me. It's way less appealing what they're offering, but it's not like, it's still kind of interesting because they define it. They define that this is going to be an easy, not super painful thing for me to go through. So that's kind of cool. Also, they do give me the pricing, which generally speaking, it does usually send, like, they do a couple of big no-nos here, in my opinion, that usually sends things to spam more often, which is probably why they're in my spam folder. Not always the case, but usually. One, they have prices. That's usually not a good thing. You don't usually want to have prices in your cold outreach because it's usually pretty obvious to Google that you're just spamming people. The other thing is they have all these images and I can't see them. Why? Because Google has marked them as spam, most likely. It could also be an issue with their rendering. But then when we go in here, look at these resumes. I mean, they're not bad. These people look like they could definitely help me. I mean, there's nothing I would say is wrong about this. It's just that I would never send an attachment inside an email, because it just won't load, or it'll just be so heavy or just people will just be overwhelmed, right? What could have been more interesting is a video, potentially describing it, or just one attachment. If you're going to send an attachment, which I never would do, but if you were to send one, then just one would probably be all that's needed. And definitely not pasting the images, at least on a cold outbound email. You can typically do something like this when it's a warm correspondent. When it's cold, it's pretty difficult. And then, yeah, white label team. I mean, that actually is pretty good, to be honest. Not horrible pricing at all. But the problem is, it's like I'm just not that intrigued by it. And I'm probably, if you guys were rooting for them, I'm sorry, but probably going to mark this guy as delete forever. I'm sorry to everyone at the Access Dev team. This is just my opinion. You guys were already in spam anyway, so hopefully it's no hard feelings, but I'm going to have to delete you guys forever. Wishing you the best. Hopefully it's not too painful. Thank you for the effort. And that is a wrap on this episode of Spam or Not Spam. If you liked it, feel free to share it with a friend or comment below if you have any questions about how to grow or scale your agency through outbound lead gen. Happy to help. Happy to help you guys. Thank you.